Money in the Bank is right around the corner, and today we're going to take a look at all the WWE Money in the Bank cash-ins that have happened since Edge started the trend. And, we'll get right to it. Starting off, we have GOATed as a top tier on this list. We have great, good, whatever, bad, and trash at the bottom. We're obviously going to do the classic, rank them between great to bad, and then put one in GOATed and one in trash.
All right,
let's start off with Edge cashing in on John Cena. I gotta say, this is great.
This is great. I saw a story about how Edge was talking about it, how he's like to Vince. Vince just wanted him to like cash it in normally, like a good guy, and be like, oh, I want my match then. And Edge was like to Vince, he's like, I'm supposed to be the despicable character. Why would I cash it in fairly? I would take the best opportunity after a champion's been beaten down, and take a run with it. And it was just, and from what I remember, it was supposed to be him. Like he might have even lost. He was predicted to lose to keep the S going on John Cena.
Oh yeah,
make John Cena Super Cena more and more. But then they changed their mind and had Edge.
It's crazy too, because if you think about it, at the time, like Edge was still, and he was kind of climbing the ladder and becoming like a main eventer.
Yeah. But
this match was kind of like the match that made him into the true main
top
event
heel.
star.
I think he became the top heel after this.
I remember being heated after he did this to John Cena. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. I still like it. That's like a core memory of mine is when was 05, right?
05?
Yeah, I think it was 05.
06.
When he came out, and I thought the pay-per-view was over, and then he came out, and Vince comes out, and then Edge comes in and cashes it in.
Next up, we got RVD versus John Cena. The cash-in, it was good.
It was good.
The match was great. So are we ranking this based on how they cash in, or are we ranking this based on how the match happened? Because the cash-in was probably one of the best cash-ins of all time in terms of the match was amazing.
Hey, I would say, if you go back and watch the promo, it's below the tier of The Rock and Austin. The promo, the preview to the match. Yeah, they do the promo. How they had the WrestleMania 17 with what's his
name?
Austin The Rock. This one's pretty good because it's the ECW music hits.
I'm gonna say it's great. I think maybe it could be nostalgia a bit, but I feel like RVD cashing in like a face would, like you said, Edge wanted to do. WWE wanted Edge to cash in that way originally, but then RVD actually cashing in that way, it makes a lot of sense. He was a face, and then the match going the way it went was perfect too, because RVD wins, and it was ECW One Night Stand, the craziest, rowdiest crowd. I'll take this as a great.
I'll go with great. I think we should include the match because that does have a little bit of a...
Especially since it was, because it was a match itself, so it makes sense. After that, I think it's Edge on Undertaker, and from this one, what I remember was Undertaker got beat up, and this was actually supposed to be Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah,
who cashed in. Yeah, and Mr. Kennedy, they misdiagnosed his tricep injury, and he ended up having to drop the the Money in the Bank briefcase to Edge, and Edge cashes in on Undertaker. Out of all the cashes, this is for sure not the best.
This is like whatever.
This is whatever. Yeah, I didn't really.
I don't know. I remember it, but like it wasn't like, oh, it was a big deal. If it was Mr. Kennedy, it would be a different thing.
Exactly. Because the fact that it was Edge doing the second time, it didn't really matter as much.
Yeah, it did. He's already a despicable heel. He didn't need more of it.
Yeah. CM Punk cashing in on Edge after I think a pay-per-view. Batista attacks Edge, and then CM Punk just runs in.
This was Raw, was it not?
This was Raw.
Yeah.
The night after pay-per-view, I should say. I think this is good. I'm a CM Punk guy, so I would say good. I wouldn't say great because I think this one was. It was a surprise when it happened. Yeah. And I feel like CM Punk at the time, just like Edge originally, wasn't on that level as like everybody else was. He was kind of a mid-carder, and he was getting thrown up into the top tier already. The WWE didn't really book him as a top tier guy either. This was the perfect way for him to take advantage of.
I agree. I agree with this. I think, in my opinion, it was like, I think they kind of like now like the Money in the Bank, you kind of knew what was the situation with the Money in the Bank. Yeah. So it wasn't like as shocking as like, the first one was. And it wasn't like it's like RVD's kind of match. But like I still think it's a good one. You wouldn't put it great because I think the great like surprises are like few in there between of them cashing it in.
Yeah. I think that the second one was better than his first though. The one on Jeff Hardy here. Because he does this after...
It was a pay-per-view match, right?
It was like, who did Jeff Hardy wrestle? I think
was it Triple H?
It might have been Triple H. It might have been Edge, actually. I think they had a ladder match or something like that, and Jeff Hardy loses the ladder match. CM Punk cashes in, and he wins. And I think this is... I wouldn't say great, though, still.
I would say good. I would say the top of good.
CM Punk was a face at the time, and it was a heel turn.
It was a heel turn.
That's a big part of it, too. I think he was still in between. Nobody really considered him a heel, and he turned heel during this match, technically. And this rivalry kind of made him heel, because Jeff Hardy was a top face. Yeah. CM Punk cashes in, turns into a massive heel.
I would say top of good.
I'll say top of good. I don't want to put it into great.
I don't think it's that great yet, in my opinion.
Jack Swagger cashing in on Jericho after he gets beat up by Edge.
This might be,
This is like legit. I don't care for it. The match, Jack Swagger probably was the worst person to have Money in the Bank. It made no sense. Next person is Kane. Cashing in on Rey Mysterio. I would say this was whatever. You know why? Because at the time, Kane had a whole storyline going for him where Undertaker got hurt. And he kept blaming Rey Mysterio for it, but it was him who attacked Undertaker apparently, and Undertaker was all weak and stuff like that. So there was kind of an angle to this. But I mean, when it happened, I didn't really care either, because I expected it to happen too.
Okay.
The way the match was going, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna cash in on Rey Mysterio and win. So I'll put this in whatever. I think it's worse than Edge's. It's not that great. Okay, next up we got The Miz cashing in on Randy Orton.
Okay, I don't remember this, so.
And I also think it's whatever.
Okay, it is
I think it might have been. It's whatever. I don't really care for it. He cashed in. I think he barely beat Randy Orton. I don't care about the title run as much either. I think this was the worst time, one of the worst times in wrestling.
Is this the leading up to the John Cena versus The Miz?
Yeah, at WrestleMania match. Okay. I would say it's better than Jack Swagger, because Jack Swagger is pretty forgettable champ. At least The Miz had a run for a while, and he made event WrestleMania, so I'll give him a whatever in this category. Next up, we have Alberto Del Rio. I think this was on CM Punk then. This one had to be on CM Punk, because CM Punk will beat John Cena at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, okay.
And Kevin Nash shows up and attacks him. I'll say this right now. This is a bad one. Not even because I'm a CM Punk fan. This was a summer of CM Punk. They had to get... They kind of killed some of the steam that was going on. They gave Alberto Del Rio the belt for no reason. He dropped it to John Cena. He got it back. And then he dropped it to CM Punk again. It made no sense for him to even cash in on CM Punk in the first place. It should have been a failed cash in, if you ask me. Yeah, it should have been a failed cash in. I'll put this in bad.
Is this before CM Punk went on his run with the 300 days with the title?
This was right before he had 400 days.
Okay.
He won the belt at Money in the Bank, remember?
Yeah, he won the belt at Money in the Bank.
And SummerSlam he beat John Cena because they both had the belt.
Yeah.
And then Alberto Del Rio came in and cashed in after Kevin Nash attacks CM Punk.
Why is Kevin... Oh, yeah, I remember Kevin Nash coming back. Okay, now it's... Because I started watching back again. And then he would roast Kevin Nash every week.
Yeah.
I don't know why Kevin Nash came back, because ain't nobody watching that shit.
I don't know either, because it made no sense. Daniel Bryan was the other guy who won that year. And Daniel Bryan, I think just like CM Punk, he won. I'll put it in good. I don't know about you, but he won, and it kind of put him in like a world title place. But the world title was still like a secondary belt.
I agree. Like at this point, like you're 100% right. The world title, like at some point, like at one point they kind of seemed like they were equal.
Yeah.
And then like later on in the 2010s, I would say it kind of like started decreasing after guys like Batista and like after Batista kind of like. It got thrown around a lot, like Edge to Jeff Hardy to these.
I think that back then it was still like quality wrestlers had it. No offense to Big Show, no offense to Mark Henry, but once they started competing for it, the belt got lost a little bit of value.
Okay.
And Dolph Ziggler was winning it too, and then all these secondary.
I think it was like a jumping pad to see if a person can handle like
the heavyweight, WWE title. And I think, but Daniel Bryan at the time, I think he was like. A lot of people didn't think WWE valued him as much, and this was one of the first times where you actually saw him getting a world title and it actually meant something, even though he lost it in the worst way possible.
And it was exactly like what it was for Punk and Edge. It boosted his career up to next level.
Next up, John Cena doing it like the way he would do, cashing it in, asking CM Punk for a match.
That shit bad, dog.
Bad?
The match?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't win. It was kind of a pointless cash in too, because the match, I don't think as the winner was decided. And there was disqualification at the end. Big Show showed up.
Oh, yeah, Big Show.
And they ruined the whole match. I don't think it mattered at all. This next one, though, I would say was one of the best ones.
This was a good one.
Dolph Ziggler clashing might be great.
Great. I think it was great. Because you know what? People still talk about this and how he cashed it in. And I would say it's great. I always see it on TikTok every single time.
The pop was huge.
Everything was great.
It was finally Dolph Ziggler getting his title, title at the point where WWE should have been giving it to him earlier, but then he finally wins the belt, and then they mess up the title run. But still, the moment itself was
moment's still the moment.
Next up, we got Randy Orton cashing in on Daniel Bryan.
I'm debating this because it was a good like authority. It was a good turn. In the whole thing of Triple H. This is the one where Triple H
pedigrees Daniel Bryan,
right? And it's a good heel turn for Triple H because
Randy Orton was a face at the time.
Oh, he was a face. Okay, yeah. So it's a good heel turn.
Yeah.
But is it great? I wouldn't say. If I compare it to Dolph Ziggler, it's not as good as Dolph Ziggler.
I feel like I remember this better. I feel like this might be better than both CM Punk ones.
I think it might be too. I think because of the fact that it is like I do like I remember like seeing this on YouTube the next time and clicking and watching it because Triple H did help his boy Randy Orton again.
It's also a moment people remember pretty
a lot,
too, right?
Yeah, it is. I would say it's good, top of good.
I might argue for great.
You think you're gonna go great?
I feel like great because like the moment itself, Randy Orton was a face and Triple H was a face. and Daniel Bryan was like this big champion. Everybody was excited for it, and Triple H out of nowhere turns on him. But maybe that kind of did kill a little bit of the momentum that Daniel Bryan had, and the fact that the WWE really didn't have any intention of pushing Daniel Bryan the way they ended up having to after, and they ended up pivoting towards that. So maybe that's why. I'll put this in good. I talked to myself.
You talked yourself. You decided not to say anything.
Damien Sandow cashing in on John Cena. I thought the initial attack he had on John Cena was good.
It was good. I remember watching this.
But then John Cena still winning was such bullshit. It was classic Super Cena thing, BS. I don't even think he should have. I don't even think he should have cashed in at that moment.
No, he shouldn't have.
It was a waste of a briefcase.
Waste of briefcase. I don't know what Vince was thinking in that moment.
This is arguably
trash.
It's one of the trash candidates. Seth Rollins already the best. This is great. This is great.
I think we know where this is going to go.
Don't even need to mention it as it's one of the best of all time. Like this is the main event. Everybody was disappointed with Roman Reigns maybe winning. Nobody wanted Brock Lesnar to win. You find a solution. Seth Rollins cashes in. Nobody saw it coming and ended up winning.
In one of the games, you already said this was probably the best title run of the 2010s.
It was.
And so, we probably know where this is going at the end.
Yeah.
We'll save that till the end.
Okay.
Next one is Sheamus.
Sheamus cashing in on Roman Reigns. I don't know. Because at the same time, I think it was kind of like a...
I don't like Sheamus, so I'm putting this in bad. Yeah. I don't even remember what the hell happened. I didn't even watch it. So
what happened was, at the time, Roman Reigns... Seth Rollins dropped the belt.
Yes.
Right? Due to an injury. And Roman Reigns became champ. But nobody, at the time, nobody really wanted to see Roman Reigns become champ. So WWE kind of had to use like an out. Roman Reigns wins this tournament. Sheamus attacks him, wins like that. I still don't think it's a good enough one.
Here's the thing.
It's forgettable.
100% it's forgettable. Because here's the thing. The Dolph Ziggler one, I remember. I remember the Randy Orton one. I remember the Seth Rollins ones. And I wasn't even watching wrestling properly at that time. And I remember just like going back and watching, like seeing that happen. Because those are big moments. Yeah. But I don't remember Sheamus doing that. Yeah. I don't even remember Sheamus winning the Money in the Bank.
So does that make it a whatever or does it make it bad?
I would say whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah. Right? Bottom of a whatever because you don't really care about it. You don't care about going back and seeing it.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. It's like John Cena doing the RVD thing. That was bad because it wasn't like... It was kind of like we already seen that, and RVD's was much better than his. Yeah, and
this next one. Okay, sorry.
Go.
But the next one was Dean Ambrose cashing in on Seth Rollins.
I remember this one.
This one was good because it was Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins wins.
Yeah,
and then Dean Ambrose cashes in after. This was like a big moment for.
He sneaks up behind him and hits him with the briefcase.
But I think this is good.
I would say good.
Maybe above Randy Orton because it was a Shield doing it involved, right? All three members were.
I think Randy Orton's still better.
You think Randy Orton's better?
Yeah, I think Randy Orton's better than that, man.
I won't even argue against it, but
like Randy Orton, that's like an icon. That's like an icon.
It was iconic. It was a heel turn, and it led to the WrestleMania 30. The
Dean
match
Ambrose it was good, but I wouldn't say it's like I would like put it in the Punk level. Like, it's not Randy Orton. I wouldn't say it's Randy Orton good.
Next up, we got the first women's cash in. Carmella cashing in on Charlotte Flair.
Is this the same night? Did they cash in the same night?
I don't think this was because they botched.
A lot of the women's one, I've seen a trend where they cash it in on the same night.
This one was botched from what I remember. Because I think what happened was Charlotte Flair... No, I mean, sorry, the winner was botched because at Money in the Bank, it wasn't even... The first winner wasn't technically a woman. It was... what's his face?
Oh, Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon himself, yeah. He got the briefcase and... then Carmella ended up winning, and then the next night on SmackDown they ended up redoing the match, and she wins then. So I think the Money in the Bank itself was like the worst way to start it off, kick it off, pretty disrespectful if you ask me. I think the way she won was she got attacked by the tag team, and Carmella comes out and does a classic heel cash in.
Okay.
So I don't think it's good still. Maybe it's good.
Whatever.
It's probably a whatever. I would probably put it right here for whatever because I still remember it, kind of, because I was kind of turning into casual wrestling fan at this point before I made my return, but I think this was whatever.
Whatever.
And then the Baron Corbin one was kind of just like
trash.
John Cena kind of got involved, and it was just like whatever. It's probably worse than whatever. It's kind of bad.
I would say bad.
Yeah. And then, I'm gonna say Braun Strowman just as bad too, because Braun Strowman
the one where he came in during the match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns,
but Roman Reigns ends up winning the match.
Yeah.
And Braun Strowman doesn't cash in. He announces his cash in after, and he still loses. So. What another waste of a cash, and the guy who could have used a win too would have been huge for Braun Strowman. They needed another star at the time. They just wasted it. I would say this is bad too because they wasted the briefcase, in my opinion.
All right, the next one, Alexa Bliss. This is the one where she attacked her right after. This is Alexa Bliss versus Bailey, right?
No, it was.
No, sorry.
Nia Jackson.
Nia Jackson versus Bailey, right?
I think so. And Nia Jackson and Alexa Bliss were friends at the time too.
And she betrayed her. Right?
She betrayed her.
So she basically Tiffy stole her strategy.
Pretty much, yeah. She saw the book. She saw the playbook. She did it herself. This was a good one.
I would say I always see it. I
think out of all the wrestlers back then, Alexa Bliss was probably one of the top women's wrestlers back then too.
I would put it good.
I'll probably put it good too.
I'll put it above. I would put it above
right here.
The second, yeah, exactly.
Right there, yeah. Brock Lesnar cashed on Seth Rollins. Bad. This was a waste. Another waste. A guy who didn't need it.
Is this the one where he came in at the he wasn't even in the Money in the Bank match and he just came in?
Yeah.
And the what's his name? Ali was gonna win.
Yeah.
And then,
Mustafa Ali was supposed to win.
And then he just came in and just took it.
Yeah.
That's kind of dumb. That's a classic Vince move right there.
Yeah.
That just cans over future stars just to book Brock Lesnar.
Just a waste.
Brock Lesnar doesn't need the title. You know, he's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and even the cash-in was whatever too, because I would say cash-in was whatever. Because I think Seth Rollins ends up winning the belt back anyways at SummerSlam, so it was pointless. It was pretty. Obviously, it's bad. Another waste of a Money in the Bank to me.
There's a lot of wastes on the Money in the Banks over here.
They've done it a lot of times. Next up, we got Bailey, and this one.
This is whatever.
This one was whatever too, because even though I think Bailey was up and coming at this point.
Okay, yeah.
And like you said, this was another one of those where they just did it on the same night as Money in the Bank. So, dude, Bailey was like she was up and coming. Everybody liked her at the point, but I still feel like watching this didn't really have.
Didn't hit.
It didn't hit.
It didn't hit.
I don't really care about it. I saw it live, so I barely remember it. Yeah, put it whatever. I would say whatever. I don't remember.
You know
it all.
why? Here's why I put it whatever, because it kind of feels like it was a kind of like if we compare it to Alexa Bliss, it didn't seem like it's on the same level.
Yeah.
The Alexa Bliss one kind of seemed like more of like
there's emotion and stuff like that
involved, right? This one just seemed like I don't know at the time, maybe she was she Becky Lynch's like friend or whatever, and she's like,
I don't think there's any storyline other than her being a 4 horseman.
Okay.
And then up and coming NXT wrestler.
Then if there's no emotion to it, like it just doesn't really.
It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
The Miz is next. This was a waste.
This is 100% waste.
Because Miz didn't even win it. Otis won it.
Okay.
And then the Miz beat him, and the Drew McIntyre was champ. I think he beat Drew McIntyre and ended up losing the belt anyways in like a week or two. So there was no reason for him to even have the Money in the Bank.
There's a theme to this. The Money in the Bank ain't good. Yeah.
A lot of people say Triple H is good at booking it. I think that Vince McMahon wasn't that great at booking it either. He had a lot of misses if you look at this list.
There's more misses than there are
hits.
There's
great hits.
3 hits.
Yeah.
And if you count the Rhino one, there's like 4 hits. Yeah. And if you count the Rhino one, there's 5.
Yeah.
And maybe D-Man was a 6.
I mean, the good ones are still good. I don't hate those, but the having that many
bad or whatever
useless or didn't matter at all, it just doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
Nikki Ash, don't remember much about it.
If you know, I didn't start watching at this point, but if you don't remember it,
because I don't even think she had like a proper title run either. After that, because I remember Vince was just. I feel like Vince was just like putting people over for no reason.
He just wanted the moment, and then he just take it away from them. Right?
I'll put her in whatever as well, because I don't know if it was a waste, because it wasn't like she took her somebody else or anything really like that.
Big E,
Big E was good.
I remember this one. This is
Big
good.
E was good because he announced it on I think Twitter too. Which is like whatever, but it's a face move. They announce it, cash in at the end of the night, and he ends up winning it. And he it was about time.
Yeah.
He probably I probably put it above Daniel Bryan and good.
I would too. I don't think he deserved it. I think he kind of It kind of also like kind of cemented him because he was there for a long time, and he didn't really get that WWE title push. So
now Liv Morgan though, she's up next.
Yeah.
I think out of all of the women, she might have had the best cash in.
Was this one against?
This was against Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey, right?
After Ronda Rousey had the match and she came out and this was the first one Triple H ever booked. I think this was where he peaked in terms of his Money in the Bank books. Probably one of his better ones. I'll put this in good too.
I'd put this
above Alexa Bliss's.
I would agree.
I think because it was a good moment. I don't think they capitalized as well though on her actual title run.
That's true. But they never capitalized on the title.
That's true.
We're just doing the cash in moments.
Yeah, true. I think they did a good job with this one.
All right.
Okay, next up, we have Austin Theory. I'm going to say this is another bad one. This is kind of for trash. You know why? Because even though he cashed in, and the way he won it was BS.
Yeah.
But the way he cashed in on a mid-card belt. And I don't like that. I feel like even though and you can win any belt, I feel like the Money in the Bank should be directly to the world title. 100%. There's no logic to go after another belt.
It was also embarrassing when he did it and then what's called Roman Reigns kind of punked him too. And
when a retard cash in,
yeah, it's like
they made it look bad.
They did make it look bad. So it's like at that point, it's like he's already on the downtrend.
I think it hurt him more than anything being a U.S. champ too, because he beat John Cena and it didn't really matter.
It doesn't even look at him now. It doesn't even matter now.
It hurt him more than anything.
100%.
Next up, we got what is this? Io Sky on Bianca Belair and I think Charlotte Flair. They were having a match themselves, right? And then that led to a triple threat match. This is a good run.
I would say good. I would say at the bottom of good, to be honest.
I'll probably say higher than Daniel Bryan.
You think higher than Daniel Bryan?
Because this led to that big match at the WrestleMania between Bayley, and it was actually part of the story.
That's true.
It was used properly too, and then even the way she won it was fun too, because it was like Bayley got stuck in the ring and then in the ladder, and she went up, and then she beat Bianca Belair, and then she did the match at I think SummerSlam, a triple threat match, something like that. This one wasn't bad either. I was just pretty good.
All right, I'll go. This is the one that I'm fine. This is now I'm in here. I'm in the conversation now again.
How about Damien Priest?
Damien Priest was It was
really that was WrestleMania.
But it seemed like it was more of a CM Punk Drew McIntyre moment to me, right?
True.
He took that was what it seemed like more. It wasn't more like it was Drew. They were pushing Damien Priest. It just seemed like it was more of a thing to help that bad blood be more bad blood.
I still think it was a big moment though, because it was like it was already a good match that him and Seth Rollins had, Drew McIntyre had, and then Drew McIntyre goes up to CM Punk, starts flexing on him, and then gets a little cocky, gets knocked down, and then here comes Damien Priest. It was a big moment.
That was a big moment, but in my mind, like watching this, like it just seemed like he was just holding the belt till Gunther was gonna get the belt, right?
True.
He just seemed like he was the placeholder for Gunther. Yeah. And everybody knew it too. Everybody
but you can say that's about a lot of people who won the belt too,
that's
right?
True.
They were kind of placeholders for other people. But the cash in itself was huge because it was at WrestleMania 40 as well to open up the show, and it was after a big match. Drew McIntyre barely held the belt on for more than 5 minutes. I think.
Yeah,
I was thinking great, to be honest, but
mine is on the top of whatever to the bottom of good.
I feel like it's better than most.
It's better than Daniel Bryan's for sure.
I think it's better than better than Big E's.
Yeah, you
better than CM Punk's first one.
I would say in between Alexa Bliss and
it might even be better than the Dean Ambrose one too.
You think it's better than Dean Ambrose?
Because it's more memorable than Dean Ambrose.
But that's kind of a Shield moment right there. If you think
it was, but like.
But Dean Ambrose is gone. If Dean Ambrose ever came back, that'd be a Shield moment. They would play that Shield moment back to back again. But he's just gone. He's not there.
I don't know where. I feel like I'd put it
right.
I feel like right here would make sense.
The thing that takes away from me personally is the fact that it kind of seems like it was more of a story between CM Punk and what's called Drew McIntyre rather than it being something. Rather than being about Damien Priest. And you know what? Low-key kind of would be sick if Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had a match for the
But at the end, when Damien Priest gets to the top of the ramp and he's just holding it up.
Yeah.
And then All Judgment Day comes out. That was a pretty big moment.
It was a big moment.
And it was a big pop, a good way to start WrestleMania. And one of the more... That was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And this is probably one of the key moments.
100% right. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Good.
You got me. You on.
So this one... Drew McIntyre himself cashes it. This one's more of a CM Punk.
This is whatever.
This was like whatever.
I would say whatever because it was like it's iconic. It's memorable.
Yeah.
Right, but like it didn't like nobody like it's like the same thing with all the women's one.
Yeah.
They do it in the same night, and now like for a whole year, like you didn't even need Drew McIntyre to win the thing. You could have LA Knight win.
I would think that would put it into bad then.
Yeah, you gotta put in bad.
Because it was useless. They didn't even need it.
They don't even need the bad blood. They already had bad blood. CM Punk could have easily came in the Money in the Bank match and screwed him over there, right? 100%. And it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
And it would have been like the bad blood would have continued.
All right, the last one, Tiffy time.
She basically we already talked about. She basically copied Alexa Bliss, right? She sold the, but
it was good though.
It was good though.
I
would put it below Big E, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was
below Big E, above Ego.
Yeah, because once again, this is like Nia Jax was just holding the title for whoever was next.
Yeah,
and Tiffy was next. And I think that it's good. I agree. Now we gotta pick one for each. One for goated, one for bad. I said we'll start with bad because
trash.
Sorry, one for trash, and one for goated.
Okay.
And I say we start with bad because trash because there's a lot of bad ones in there. We gotta fight through.
I'm trying to look. I think John Cena wasn't the worst, so I'll keep that where it is. I feel like Jack Swagger wasn't the worst because he's an up and coming guy. It was actually used. Alberto Del Rio, he still won the belt. I feel like Baron Corbin, Damien Sandow, Braun Strowman.
Brock Lesnar too, sort of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Miz as well.
The Miz is bad. Austin Theory, at least he won a belt, even though like, he was the most useless one. CM Punk, even though that was bad, I feel like it was still like a part of something at the end of the day. So I'll probably move these guys up here just to separate them from the pack a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can see it on the screen, but
so we basically moved.
let's move this.
There we go.
There you go.
So we're deciding between Baron Corbin, Damien Sandow, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and The Miz. So the Miz one, it's like useless.
It was so useless.
It was so useless. But like the other ones, those are up and coming guys. They just like train wreck their careers basically for no reason.
I feel like Damien Sandow is going to be the worst one.
I think he has to be the worst
Damien
one.
Sandow had so much hope, and then they dropped the ball with him so hard after that.
Oh, so much that he just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I started watching. I liked him.
Yeah, same.
I remember
he held the mic like this, I think.
Yeah, he was like kind of like a throwback a little bit.
He did. He had his own gimmick, you know.
Yeah,
it was unique.
and it was unique, and then they kind of just threw it away because they, we keep the ass on the chest for life,
And, yeah.
John Cena always telling you like, oh, I stopped mediocrity. I don't know if he stopped it there.
This guy was legit. He could talk on the mic, and even after it did drop the ball with him, he was still like, the guy.
It doesn't like if you're gonna give someone the briefcase, you gotta push them all the way through. You gotta see it all the way through.
I think he's going. I think I'll put that
trash.
in trash because they fucked it up.
They fucked him up.
The goated one though, I feel like Seth Rollins is goated automatically.
Because that one's, and if you think about it, that's bigger than Edge's. Edge's
bigger
first
than
one.
Yeah, biggest one because of WrestleMania.
100%.
Main event of WrestleMania, saved the main event of WrestleMania. We're not having the best title run.
Yeah.
It's everything you want. It made him star.
If it wasn't for his ACL and MCL tour, right? If it wasn't for that, he probably would have been on a generational run.
100%.
And I would say it's goated just for that. That one moment is goated. It's still talked about to this day.
That does it for our tier list for Money in the Bank cash-in tier list. We had Seth Rollins as the GOAT. We had Damien Sandow's cash-in as trash cash-in. Let us know what you think and how you rank each one in the history of cash-ins. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.